Hi, I'm Jale. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a reading for Taurus, all aspects and all the cross-watcher from now until the next set of Taurus reads. Remember, this is general. Take what resonates and leave the rest. If you feel like this doesn't resonate with you, check other aspects and or other videos. Could well be that they are more in line with what's happening for you. If you want, you can follow me on TikTok, psychic_1. I post every day there. And also I will be posting to my Instagram x_Jale_x daily also. So like I said, if these aren't resonating, check out either of those. They are shorter versions, but their message is still the same. Okay, so let's jump in for Tauruses here. Let's see what Tauruses have to look forward to. What is going on? Before I do, I've just noticed my sage is out. So let me just relight my sage. Right, so let's see. For Tauruses, what's the messages from now until the next set of readings? What spirit? What do you want the Tauruses to be aware of, please? Ooh, we've got a lot of movement here. We've got a lot of incoming options for you guys. Okay, so there's a new phase coming up that you're walking into here. Wow, we've got preparing for union as well. We've got preparing for union. We've also got moving out of obstacles here as well. And there's a lot of options that are going to be presented at this time for you as you're moving into this new phase, ascending. There's a lot of introspection as well that either you're coming out of or that you're going to be doing between now and this new phase that is helping you understand more about where you're going and wrapping up this long cycle potentially of where you've been. Looks very promising though, Taurus. Looks really promising here. Okay, adaptability. So if you're finding things a bit tough with obstacles, things being thrown your way, it's to try and help you learn to adapt, especially when it comes to romance. Especially when it comes, they're preparing you for something and they want to see how adaptable you are, because remember, we've got the North nodes going into Taurus and South Node going into Scorpio. Very fixed signs, both of those. So I think between now and the 19th of January, they're trying to prepare you for this new chapter, but they're going to ask you to, again, probably going to sort of ask you to stay on your toes a little bit while that kind of transition goes through, because it's needed. It's needed. You need some time to get used to the next offering, the next chapter. Wow, guys, look at this. This is the nectar. This is it. This is what you guys have probably been waiting on here. Oh, what's going on with this camera? It looks fuzzy. Let me pause this one sec. That's better. For some reason it was a little bit fuzzy. Yeah, this is what is on its way to you. This is the sweet honey, the sweet truth, the sweet nectar after a long battle. This is a heart awakening. This is heart center upgrades. And because obviously heart center upgrades are moving in, there's a lot more abundance here because we have an upgrade in the heart center. Wow. Something's come full circle here with the ring. There could also be an upgrade in commitment as well with the ring here. Something's come full circle. There's again, we've got keys on a ring. We've got a mirror that's a ring. And then we've got another ring. So there's 3 or more things that are concluding and closing out. Emotional ascension, emotional evolution, emotional development. It's like the fruits of your labour are coming to fruition here. Excellent stuff, guys. Like, if this is for you, you should be very proud of yourself, because this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Taurus. What else for Taurus, please? What else for Taurus? Taurus, please. If you've had things getting thrown in your path, the rugs being pulled out from underneath you, it was to prepare you from your next stage. It wasn't to make you feel It's also to test to see, yeah, look, it was a spiritual quest. It was to test to see your resolve. Can you see she's holding an umbrella there in the sun? So it's like you've got all the tools. It was to learn how to kind of equip through this. You've got to maintain a positive outlook though. Find the small details, you know, upliftment in this. Find joy in the smaller things. Try and relax. Trust in your inner instincts. Try and surrender, and it will help you through this period. Nurturing yourself as well, but also knowing when to protect yourself and knowing when to nurture yourself. Adapting between those energies is going to really help you. I don't know why, but I just heard cultivate truth. So be honest with yourself as well. Like, if you're not feeling it, find out why, you know. If you're not feeling your path, ask yourself why. One sec, just removing and updating. We've got candles. I've got an advent calendar for candles. And I've got all my Yankee candles here, but they keep... They're not... I mean, I love them. They're awesome candles, but they run out really quickly. Which is a shame, because I love them. The smells are amazing. Anyway, as a Taurus, you're going to get that, right? Right, let's see. If you're a Taurus sun, or a Taurus Venus, maybe even a Taurus moon, you'll understand it. Let's have a look. Let's see, Taurus, what else here? Yeah, there's something coming in that has to be exactly the right time, and it's to get you to a certain point in the right timing. So there's something on its way. You have to look inward. If it's not already here, or if you're struggling to understand and adapt, you need to go within and figure out what it is. So let's see a little bit more about that. What is this? No, we'll go to this. Spirit, what can you tell us here about divine timing and looking inward for the lovely Tauruses? What can you tell us, please, for the lovely Tauruses watching? Wow. Right. Okay, for some of the Sun Tauruses, you're probably going to get this, right? If you've had the world's most craziest ride this year, you have to take a look at anything and anyone that has really dug the knife in and try and release. Acknowledge Ho'oponopono. So, thank you, I'm sorry, thank you, please forgive me, I love you. And keep doing that. Understand the gratitude in the lesson, and forgive anyone that may have harmed, because it is, you're going to be needing to release that. We've got complete surrender. If you can't stay in that energy, this is what the guides are advising you to do, because this is about to shift you into a new consciousness here with this holographic healing and a mental transformation. It's like, if you can get this last part down, there's a complete shift in consciousness. There's a acknowledgement to the service and the things that you've gone through, but there's also like a missing link. Something is going to be reconnected to you that maybe you were missing or felt like you were missing. But there's a transition here. There's a transitional energy, and it's involving this lesson with openness and, again, expansion, and acknowledging that this was meant to teach you to get in. I mean, trust me when I say this, it's probably been incredibly frustrating, because the higher the mission, the more the lesson, the harder the lesson, right, sometimes. And if you're like me, when all you want to do is certain things, and you've got frickin' any kind of everything getting thrown at you, and you're just like, can you just let me get on with this now? It's acknowledging your higher purpose, and there are going to be many people on your path that are going to be built to try and throw you off, or to throw you curveballs, or to try and dissuade you from your power, or to talk you out of who you are, or to make you believe that you're not anything special, or to make you feel rubbish, or any one of those many million things of people that sometimes they just want to project that onto people because they have a rough time of it, and so they just want to do that to other people. Or it could even be karmic. Acknowledge the lesson and try and look for the forgiveness, because it is honestly going to help you. it can be very infuriating, because especially sometimes you think, well, why do I need to forgive that person? Look at what they're doing. That's not your job to determine. The spirit deals with that. It's your job to understand how they've affected you and to forgive that. And if you can't, look at why, because it's going to help you. What is it about this that you can't forgive? Yeah. That's going to be really important for you. If you want to get to this next stage in this new cycle, this is what is going to be the last piece in the jigsaw. And what you might want to do, if this is a super triggering video for you, for those that resonates, is pause it, put it in your favourites, or you'll watch later. Click like, of course, if that's okay, and subscribe if you haven't already, and click on the little notification bell if you don't mind. But come back to it. If you feel like this is too triggering for you, come back to it and watch it at a time. Maybe do a bit of meditation and then watch it again, but this is going to help. Especially if you feel like this isn't resonating, because at some point next year it will, if you're a Taurus sun. Especially if you've got multiple Taurus placements. So anything in the second house and or Taurus. So that could even be the north or south node. That could be Venus, Mars, Moon, Ascendant and or Sun. If any of those placements you have Taurus, you are going to probably want to save this video, if I'm really honest with you. And hopefully you don't. Maybe you're already transitioned past that. Maybe you're doing a great job at moving on with that, and that you've already really kind of handled that stuff. And if you have, congratulations, because that's great. You know, it's a good thing. But yeah, it's to show you how to move forward, especially if it comes to the fact or the point where you don't quite know how you feel about it all, and you don't quite understand why things have happened. Maybe you need this consciousness shift in order to piece things together, forgiveness, and then move through it, because there is definitely a potential block in healing here. And it's like they're trying to move you through this. It's like they're clearing you out, ready to move into this new uncharted territory. And they need you to clear out everything that is no longer viable. Yeah, look. Learn to nurture yourself as well. Learn to do this as an act of self-care. And you might think, why would I want to do forgiveness as an act of self-care? Because sometimes people know not what they do. And I know that sounds really cop-out-y, but I'm just repeating. I'm going to even watch this video afterwards, because there's a message in here for me too. You know? My guide's saying yes, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. I'm a Venus and a Sun Taurus, so this is about ultimate evolution and the force of attraction. It's about upgrading you into the best version of yourself, the best version of the self that you can possibly have. And there has to be a forgiveness, because otherwise you're going to come under a sticking point. There's a pause in other situations coming in, because you need to clear this out of you first. They want me to read. Yeah, it's to come out of old patterns. And like, for example, if you're used to being hurt from the same situations, this is to try and help you come through that. They keep saying forgive them for they know not what they do. And I would agree with that, because there's some people really don't know what they're doing, you know. And sometimes it's just because you're the easy target, or because they don't see the bigger picture, or because they don't understand what is the reality, or they're only viewing it from a very small perception, which is limiting them to move forward. And sometimes you as a Taurus can probably see that and think, forgive it and move forward. Especially family members as well. Especially family members. Even if you don't want to have anything to do with them, just forgive them and move on, you know. But don't keep that in your energy. But this will help attract new opportunities, and it will help you move, ascend up. It will clear this out. It's going to be really important for you. Learning how to nurture yourself in this way is an act of forgiveness. Right, let's see. Of the self. There's also Something about long-term goals here. About shifting how you deal with these kind of situations. There's a lack mentality going on here. Because of that lack of forgiveness, there's a lack mentality. It's blocking a path. You need to, again, this is about redefining the feminine side. This is a healing of the feminine. And that will then redefine your lineage, your it's self-awareness. But it's like, if you're asking for people to be stop, maybe, you know, maybe you feel victimized, or I don't know, maybe you feel like there's a lot of unwanted attention you're getting, or maybe you're just fed up. If you're acknowledging yourself and the thing that you most need, which is forgiving to these other people, that's the best thing you can do, because you're then listening to what your higher self is asking for, and you're honoring that. By you honoring that, it's bypassing anything that's being reflected to you, because you're acknowledging what your needs are, even if it's difficult to do, because sometimes the best solutions are the hardest, right? And sometimes you don't want to forgive these people because they're I was going to say something then. Maybe you don't want to because you just think, why should I? Do it. Don't be in your Taurus fixed energy. It's going to keep coming otherwise. Just, it will help you clear the energy. Just forgive them, for they know not what they do. I keep hearing that. That's going to be really significant for someone. They keep saying the same stuff. Okay. Because what will happen is, while you stretching that boundary of what you're used to doing and stretching that adaptability, your kind of the options you'll have will also be stretched and pushed too, right? And so things will be appearing to you that are outside of logic and reasoning, because you've done things outside of your norm. You know, things that you don't expect will appear because you're doing things that you're not used to doing. And also there will be a mirror reflection of that. So because you're changing your way of doing things, that will be reflected towards the energy you're receiving, which will bring it full circle, which is why we keep getting the rings, which will then also close out other blocks that you've got, because they're trying to get you to see this, because you're probably going to need to get into that mode where people just want to, sometimes people just want a person to attack, you know, because sometimes your light irritates people's demons, and because they don't want to do the healing, you're the one on the hit list. And sometimes you've got to understand that it's not your problem, and you forgive them and move on. And sometimes it's going to be done through gritted teeth, and sometimes you're going to do it because you know that it's the right thing to do, and you just hand it to spirit and you just say, look. And obviously if you're in a situation where there's, you know, a school situation or a work situation, and there's a multiple amounts of people that are ganging up on you or something, you don't let your inner light burn out. You keep going. It doesn't matter what you're being up against, you keep going. You keep going. If anything, you don't let it distract you, you don't let it move you, you keep going with it. You regroup if you need to, and then you keep going, because your light is needed. And sometimes this other darker energy wants to extinguish the light, because it doesn't like having the light shone on the shadows and the things they're not too sure about. But that's even more reason for you to continue, again, shining your light, right? Because again, this ascension, you're going to be offered things that if you're not on board with this lesson, it's going to be harder for you to understand. It's going to be a really important one. Including, this is self-discipline. This is a part of your self-discipline. Tauruses are going to be tested this next year. And if you're, let's say for example, you've already worked very hard on yourself, and you're thinking, goodness me, is there anything else I've got to do here? Like, that's all I'm doing is shadow work. All I'm doing is evolving. All I'm doing is, you know, making the effort. I'm working hard. Then they have a higher means and plan for you. Because again, if they're getting you to a certain point where things are not at the level they want, it's because they've got something else in mind for you. And they have to, again, it's an equal give and take. So if you're putting the energy in, they'll put the energy in. And if you're showing willing and you'll keep shining your light and you're keeping going against all of the odds, then look at the rewards that will come through. This is also an acknowledgement of true compassion. because there's levels of compassion, but sometimes even the worst kind of human being you can come up against, that you just think, this is like, not even the parents could love this one. I shouldn't laugh at that. I shouldn't laugh at that one. See, look, this is where I shouldn't laugh. Understanding true compassion about even when people are showing you the worst types of human behaviour, the worst types of maliciousness, that you can find it in your heart to forgive that, because that's a true test of compassion. And it's also a true test of a light worker. It's also a true test of your soul's evolution. Now, for some of you, it could well be that you're in a work environment or a job or study and you're overlooked. And it's like you feel like the obstacles are there and you're feeling like you're up against it. You just have to, again, reassess. It could well be that there's things that you need to relook at. But if you're sure of your path and your instinct's telling you it's your path, then you keep going. You forgive those people who sometimes they're meant to be put on your path for you to be gaining your strength. Sometimes these people are put on your path to understand true compassion, to help with your ultimate revolution. And this is a bit of a longer reading. Yeah, look, to change your belief systems. This is to challenge your belief systems. This is to help you challenge. And this is the other thing, is arrogance. Sometimes the way you're viewing things may be at a slightly different viewpoint on how spirit are seeing it. Maybe they're privy to something that you're not. And maybe you do need to be compassionate about that. And that's again why, if there's things that aren't moving forward, this could be the reason. Look into that. Have a listen to the video multiple times to see if there's anything that jumps out. Then you know maybe I'm onto something. And again, if it's triggering you, listen at a time, relook at a time when you know you're going to be open to it. Final message for my lovely Taurians, please. Yeah, we've got enlightenment. This is the path to true enlightenment here. This is about your ultimate spiritual journey. As you can see, the ship is in the air. So this is out of a comfort zone here. It's deliberately taking you out of a comfort zone, but it's also helping you to understand what true leadership is. To navigate true leadership. And to understand true leadership. And again, this is going to aid for your transformation. Okay guys, keep an eye out for, I'm doing a live this week. If you're watching later, then keep an eye out. I'm going to be doing lives again. But again, could be on my Instagram. Will be definitely one on here and definitely one on TikTok. But stay tuned. Have a wonderful holiday if you're celebrating. If you're not, have a wonderful New Year. I think I'm going to speak to you before New Year. But thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. It means a lot to me. Until next time, take care.